What is up, fellas? We are back for another UFC predictions video. This time for UFC 317. Oliveria versus Topuria on International Fight Week. Guys, we got a sick card this weekend. I'm looking forward to breaking this down. I did a good amount of tape. There's a lot of underdogs I like on this card. Um, I'm ready to jump into it. If you're new, subscribe. Thank you guys so much for watching as always. Um, let's jump right in. Kicking us off in the welterweight division, Nico Price is taking on Jacoby Smith. This is a open and shut case for me. Yeah, the line signifies it too. I'm going with Jacoby Smith, guys. Nico Price is pretty washed at this point in his career. I love Nico Price, but I think this is a nearly unwinnable matchup for him. Jacoby Smith really does seem like the real deal as far as a prospect goes. He's got a really good wrestling base. He's got great power. He's got good striking. He's very athletic, man. He's a young guy. And in his UFC debut, sleeping Preston Parsons the way he did, not a lot of guys do that. Preston Parsons is a hard guy to beat for a lot of these up and coming kind of 170 pounders. And to go out there and just sleep him cold like that, I think is very impressive. And he has the wrestling base to boot with this. I think he's going to have a giant speed advantage. Nico Price has always been kind of a slow striker. He's always had weird power, but he's always been pretty slow on the feet. And I don't think his chin necessarily is holding up anymore. You know, the KO lost to Robbie Lawler. The KO lost to Phil Rowe. Lost to Themba Gorimbo in a decision, but I think Jacoby Smith's a better grappler than Themba Gorimbo for sure. I think he's more powerful than Themba Gorimbo. I think he's more athletic. I got to go with Jacoby Smith here. I think he wins by finish, probably knockout, which is what most people are picking. I tend to agree with that there. Moving up to heavyweight, Jonathan Deniz is taking on Alvin Hines. Um, I'm going with Jonathan Deniz here in this matchup. How big of a favorite is Jonathan Deniz? Minus 215, yeah, that seems about right. Alvin Hines is all right. He's got some grappling, nothing crazy. He's got decent clinch work. He's kind of a dog, but I just feel like he's going to be outgunned on the feet. Jonathan Deniz has real power. He's a real lethal kickboxer. His low kicks are dangerous. His hands are dangerous. And he's got UFC experience, you know what I mean? Lost to Tybura, but could have gotten Tybura out of there, but he was a dum-dum and got himself finished. Beat Carl Williams. Granted, Carl Williams threw that fight. If you know, if you know, you know. Carl Williams was told not to take not to take down Jonathan Deniz, so he just stood up with him for 3 rounds. Beat Austin Lane, KO'd him. Had some moments where he looked a little iffy against Austin Lane, but still slept him. And then, KO'd Eduardo Neves on the Contender Series to get a contract. He's been fighting an all right level of competition. Alvin Hines, on the other hand, this is his UFC debut. He's been looking all right in LFA, though. He's a decent fighter. He could win this fight if he gets the grappling going, but I don't know if I can trust him to get the grappling going because Jonathan Deniz, bigger guy, way more reach, and he is lethal with the kickboxing. Pro kickboxer, ton of experience, and more UFC experience, high level experience. I gotta go with Jonathan Deniz here. I think Alvin Hines is an all right underdog if he can get the grappling going. I've said that like 3 times. I'm gonna say it a fourth. But Jonathan Deniz should win this fight more often than not by just landing the bigger shots on the feet and being the better striker. I don't think Alvin Hines can get the clinch game going. I don't think he can get the grappling going. And if he does try and get it going, I think he will pay a price for getting up close against Jonathan Deniz. I think Jonathan Deniz will win this fight by TKO probably, or he could win a decision, honestly, because I've seen Deniz take, Carl Williams to a decision, who was on the feet the entire fight, which I don't love, but I'm going Jonathan Deniz. Moving up to middleweight, Cedric Dumas. Somebody paid his fucking bail, baby. Taking on Jackson McVeigh. This fight I'm torn on. I'm actually really torn on this fight. I'm having a hard time making a decision here. Because I don't think Jackson McVeigh is that good. I've watched some of his regional fights. I've watched some of his fights in LFA. He's got like pretty mediocre striking. He's pretty slow. He's got a good body kick from the southpaw stance. He's good in front choke positions. He's got good chokes. But man, I could just see Cedric Demas beating him. I just think he's a little bit more athletic. But at the same time, in the same vein, I've seen Cedric Demas get subbed by Josh Fremd. I've in Cedric Demas's last fight against Miguel Oleksiejczuk, God, he looked horrified on the feet. God, he looked so scared on the feet against Oleksiejczuk. He looked horrified the entire time, and I don't like that body language. Plus, he's got all this shit going on outside of the cage. He's going to jail for the 18th time. Um, I don't know how in it he is, and he's taking this fight after 2 months. Like if I knew Cedric Dumas was coming in kind of locked in for this fight, I think I would feel a lot more comfortable picking him because he has some experience. You know, he's got a decent amateur record as well, Cedric Dumas. I don't know if I could trust him though. That's my problem. He's got a little bit of reach. He is a little bit shorter though. But I could see him getting caught in a choke by McVeigh. And McVeigh right now, I think he's riding a lot of confidence being undefeated, coming into the UFC, big pay-per-view card. It's either going to make or break him. He's either going to look really good or he's going to get bitched, quite frankly. I'm going to go with the slight underdog in Jackson McVeigh, I think. Even though I can see Cedric Demas beating him up. I really, really fucking can. But I've seen Cedric Demas subbed by bums. I don't like this quick turnaround for him, especially considering he was in jail in this 2-month time frame. I don't know how locked in he is. If you could guarantee me that Cedric Dumas was locked in, had a good camp for this fight, was taking his career a little bit seriously, I'd probably pick him to win here. But there's just too many intangibles for me on the Dumas side right now. And I've seen him, get subbed up. And Jackson McVeigh does have good submissions. He's good from that fucking front headlock position. His striking's all right. I think that body kick I mentioned from Southpaw will be there. He's not a complete schmuck, and he's got a little bit of amateur experience as well. I'm going to slightly lean Jackson McVeigh here as an underdog. I think he can submit Cedric Demas. What are the people picking? Nobody's picking Demas. He is the favorite. I hate being on the people's underdog, bro, because most of the time they're fucking wrong. But I'm gonna lean Jackson McVeigh here in this matchup, I think. Moving up to lightweight, Terrence McKinney taking on Vyacheslav Borishev. Oh man. This is another tricky one. I like Borishev. I would like to see him knock out Terrence McKinney, man. But I don't think he's gonna. I think Terrence McKinney's gonna get him in the first round. I hate to say that. Now, Borishev can win this fight easily. If this fight gets out of the first round, Terrence McKinney might get his ass whipped. Because Terrence McKinney is not the same fighter after, 5 minutes. He's just not. But the thing is, Terrence McKinney, he's kind of a dum-dum, but he's got such an advantage here. Terrence McKinney is such an explosive starter, and he's got such good wrestling. I could see him blowing up Borishev like that really quick. I could see him throwing some shots in the feet and just going for a takedown and getting a submission really fast. Do I trust him to do that, though? Not really. Can he do that? Absolutely. He can knock Borishev out on the feet, too. I think Borishev's chin at this point's a little bit suspect. Nazim Sadikov dropped him bad. Chase Hooper dropped him bad. I don't love that. And Terrence McKinney's a guy who's an explosive, super fast starter. He'll ping you early. He'll hurt you early. And I think Borishev is susceptible to getting hurt early here. I think he's also susceptible to the grappling. But, heed my warning. If this fight goes... maybe we're looking at a Vyacheslav Borishev live bet angle. Maybe that's what we're looking at. Because if it gets out of the first round, Terrence McKinney might get waxed. Because Borishev's a way better kickboxer. He's got way better kicks. I like his hands better. I like his body work a lot. He's got really nice body shots, which could loom large if this fight starts to wear on a little bit. But Terrence McKinney's such an athletic freak for the first 5 minutes that I think he might win this fight early. I hope he doesn't. I'm always rooting for Borishev. He seems like a cool guy, and I love watching him strike. His striking is just so nice to watch. Love the guy. I hope he wins. But I'm leaning Terrence McKinney here. I just think he's too dangerous early. I think he's got a clear grappling advantage here. I think he can hurt Borishev on the feet too. I think he's got a well-rounded approach to win this fight where Borishev kind of needs to last, weather that storm, and then start putting it on Terrence, which he can do. But I'm gonna lean Terrence McKinney here. I think he wins this fight inside the distance, unfortunately. But all the real homies are rooting for Borishev. Not a lot of people picking McKinney submission. I feel like that's his easiest path to win, honestly. But we'll see. Big reach advantage too. I didn't realize it was that much. But yeah, I'm going with Terrence McKinney. Moving up to women's flyweight, Viviane Araújo is taking on Tracy Cortez. No line reveal just yet because I got some opinions. All right. I think Tracy Cortez is kind of a schmuck. I don't think she's very good. She has one good win. Granted, it is a win that has aged tremendously well. She beat Jasmine Jasudavicius, which is a great win. But that was almost 2 years ago. And since this win, Jasmine has, I think, won like 6 fights in a row. And my thing is like, Jasmine Jasudavicius has gotten like 6 fights in since this fight's happened. This is Tracy Cortez's second most recent fight. Like, she is wildly inactive, bro. You know, she lost to Rose Namajunas a year ago, basically. She looked pretty bad in that matchup. And now she's getting a lady in Viviane Araújo, who, in my opinion, is still pretty good. She just beat Karine Silva, who is good. And when you look at her last 5 fights, I mean, she lost to Natalia Silva, who is, I mean, she's the #1 contender right now. If they don't do Shevchenko versus Wei Li, it's going to be Shevchenko versus Silva. It's the clearest title challenger we've seen. She just destroyed Alexa Grasso. Beat Jennifer Maia. Jennifer Maia's pretty fucking good, dude. Lost to Amanda Ribas. Ribas is good. I think Ribas is better than Cortez. And then she lost to Alexa Grasso. I think Alexa Grasso is probably better than Tracy Cortez. Tracy Cortez's wrestling's all right. Her striking is not great. If I see a batshit insane line here, like if they're like evens, I might pick Cortez. But if Cortez is like minus like 300, I'm picking Araújo all day. So we're gonna do a live line reveal right now. Yeah, no. I gotta go with Araújo. I think she's still good. She's got better striking. She's got more power than Tracy Cortez, I think. She's got a tricky submission game. She's got some grappling. And she's a dog, dude. I know she's 38, but that age doesn't really matter so much in women's MMA. Quite not nearly as much as it does in men's MMA. Got a nice reach advantage. I'm going to take the plus 200 underdog. I've never really been impressed by Tracy Cortez. Her level of competition is pretty low outside of this fight and this fight. But since this fight, it seems like Jasudavicius has improved tremendously. And Rose Namajunas, I mean, turned her away pretty easily. And Araújo's been fighting, I mean, really good fighters, basically her whole career. And she just knocked off a prospect in Karine Silva, I believe is a pretty big underdog as well. I could see her doing it again, bro. She's been way more active than Tracy Cortez as well. I think she's more well-rounded. I think Tracy Cortez has an advantage in the pure wrestling. I think Araújo probably has a little bit of an edge in the jiu-jitsu. And I think she's a more dangerous striker. She's also got a pretty nice clinch game as well. I think she can beat Tracy Cortez in. I'm going to go with Viviane Araújo. I think she's going to win a decision. I think, but this is the thing. I want this to be said now. If it's a close decision, they are not giving it to Araújo. That's the only problem. They will rob her blind to give the prettier chick a win. They absolutely will. They will give her the Tabitha Ritchie treatment. I promise you they will. Fuck. Fuck, I hate that. Because they totally will. If it's a close fight, they're not giving it to Araújo. They won't. I gotta go with Araújo, though. If we get robbed, we get robbed. You know what I mean? If we get robbed, it doesn't count. All right? It doesn't count as a wrong pick. Because because it will happen. I'm gonna go with Araújo decision here. I think she wins 29-28. Yeah, the chance of a finish looking quite slim, people are saying. I agree. I'm going with Araújo decision, though. Did not mean to do that. Moving up to featherweight. Another tricky one. Hyder Emil taking on Jose Delgado. Okay. This line is kind of what I was expecting. Hyder Emil is an interesting case because I've never thought this guy was any fucking good. But he keeps winning, and he keeps proving me wrong. He had a close fight recently with William Gomez. Banger fight. Uh, Showed off the chin, showed off the dog. That's what Hyder Emil is. He is the ultimate dog. He is going to press forward with reckless abandon. He's going to eat shots. He's going to try and melt the guy he's fighting. And I always think, at this point, I think he's always a good underdog because he's going to fight for your coin if you bet on him. That's for goddamn sure. But Jose Delgado is an interesting case because when we look at Hyder Emil's career, especially in the UFC specifically, outside of Jiang Li, but Jiang Li in this matchup, it's like he got Down syndrome the way he was fighting. Because I think Jiang Li is a pretty technical guy, but it looked like Hyder Emil transferred some type of extra chromosome powers into Jiang Li and just made him fucking throw looping hooks in the pocket, which is not his strong suit. There's no real guy with a lot of finishing potential that Hyder Emil's fighting. Like, yeah, we could take some shots off of Fernie Garcia. Yeah, we could take some shots off of William Gomez, who's not really a power striker. Yeah, we could take some shots off of Jiang Li, who's got decent power, but I mean, he was fighting very uncharacteristically in this matchup. And then we're talking about, the Contender Series, the LFA. I don't read too deeply into these right now. Not a lot of guys with a lot of serious punching power. My thing with Jose Delgado here is this is a guy who he's knocking people the fuck out. And he's also, bring this up right now while we can, he's got an all right jiu-jitsu game. It's not too shabby. He's got some submission skills. But Jose Delgado is a really nice kickboxer. And he's got some power, dude. And he commits to strikes. And Hyder Emil is a guy who's hittable. He's very hittable on the feet. I think Jose Delgado is the hardest hitter Hyder Emil's fought. And the highest level striker. Maybe William Gomez is a little bit better. Pure striking, pure kickboxing. But he doesn't have that. He doesn't have that thwack of a guy like Jose Delgado. He doesn't throw with the intentions of a Jose Delgado. And I think that's a problem for Hyder Emil because when he wades into range early, man, I could see him eating an absolute shit rocket right on his chiseled, gigantic jawline. I mean, can we talk about this? Can we talk about these fucking fighter profiles? Look at the brutal mogging that's going on here. This is crazy. Anyways. And another thing with Hyder Emil, like, dude, everybody thinks like he's like this prospect. Dude, he's 35 at featherweight. At what point does the chin get cooked? He's got a 3-inch reach disadvantage. He's going to be the smaller guy. I think he's got less power. Jose Delgado's got nice hooks, which something not a lot of guys Hyder Emil's fought have really had, to be honest. He's got nice counter hooks, Jose Delgado. He's got nice straight punches, too. He's got nice kicks. He throws with bad intentions. He's the much younger guy. I think he's the hardest hitter Emil's fought. Now, I think there's going to be a point where Hyder Emil just gets hit by something hard, and he might shit himself. He might fucking get sat down in the chair. And if he does, Jose Delgado's got a pretty good jiu-jitsu game. It's not too shabby. I could see him getting a submission as well. I could see him hurting Emil, maybe going for something from the front headlock position, maybe a guillotine, maybe a Darce. He's hit the Darce before. I like Jose Delgado here, although I've picked against Hyder Emil a couple of times, and he's proven me wrong. He is a dog. He can win this fight. Maybe he melts Jose Delgado, but I don't think so. I just think Jose Delgado's got some serious power, and everybody's picking Hyder Emil. See, this is what I don't like picking the people's dog, man. I don't trust him. I think this is kind of a sketchy matchup for him. Even though William Gomez is good, I don't think he's got the same power. I'm going with Jose Delgado here. I think Jose Delgado, I think he can finish Hyder Emil. I really do. I'm going to go with Jose Delgado inside the distance. I think he can finish him with TKO or sub. I could see a club and sub for Jose Delgado, honestly. But if Hyder Emil wins, man, I will be impressed by this fucking guy. He keeps impressing me, honestly. Like, he looked good against Gomez. That was an impressive fight for sure. So he's certainly live. Moving up to our main preliminary fight at middleweight. Jack Hermansson taking on Gregory Rodriguez. This is a tricky one for me because, man, I could so see Jack Hermansson just fucking just point kickboxing at range. He's really good at that. Jack Hermansson is one of the most underrated guys in this middleweight division, dude. He keeps winning. You know, he lost to Roman Dolidze. This was an absolute fluke. Dolidze's garbage. Jack Hermanson got himself TKO'd like a bot. Lost a split to Sean Strickland. Beat Chris Curtis clearly. Beat Shabazian clearly. Beat Joe Pyfer clearly. He's pretty good against these prospects, man. And one thing Gregory Rodriguez said, he said he wanted to be more patient for this matchup, and I actually think that's going to hurt him here. Because I don't think Gregory Rodriguez should be patient in this matchup at all. Because if he's going for the tit for tat kickboxing game against Jack Hermanson, I think he's going to lose. I think he's going to get out-volumed. But the benefit is, it is 3 rounds. If it was a 5-rounder, I'd probably pick Jack Hermanson. But Jack Hermanson is also really inactive. I think Gregory Rodriguez has all of the physical advantages here. I think he hits much harder. I think he's way stronger. I think he could honestly work his grappling here. But I always say that about Gregory Rodriguez, and he never works the grappling. Even though he has it, he just never uses it. I think Gregory Rodriguez needs to be that berserker here. I think he needs to get in and force Jack Hermanson into a dogfight, because I think that's his best chance to win. If he does go out here and look patient, and I don't know if that's the best thing for him. I think he needs to go out there and get active. Because it's the big cage too. We're not in the apex, man. I'm a little conflicted here because Rodriguez said that. I think he should win this fight. But I don't like that mindset of like, oh, I need to take this slow after fighting Cannonier. The reason you got punished berserking against Cannonier is because Cannonier has power. He has stopping power. Jack Hermanson doesn't really have that. This is a guy I feel like Gregory Rodriguez could run over if he wanted to. With just the physicality edge. I feel like that is his better path to victory. I'm actually going to trust that Gregory Rodriguez does not fight this fight patiently. Because a lot of times in a fight, guys resort to their default state. And Gregory Rodriguez's default state is stalking a guy up against the cage and butchering them. I think he can do that here against Jack Hermanson. Does he finish him? I don't think he finishes Hermanson. Hermanson's our guy to finish. I think this is going to be a RoboCop decision, probably 29-28. Maybe Hermanson starts getting him in the third. I could see it. I'm going to go with RoboCop here. I think he wins a decision. Although, some of the shit he's saying does give me a little bit of pause here. Opening up the main card at bantamweight, Peyton Talbot returning and taking on Felipe Lima. Guys, I love Felipe Lima. You guys know this. I've been a Felipe Lima enjoyer, preacher of Felipe Lima since he joined the UFC. I picked him as an underdog to beat Muhammad Niamov, and he did. He beat Miles Johns in a clear decision. I think Felipe Lima is really good. I do think this is kind of a sketchy matchup for him. Because Peyton Talbot, I know Talbot looked shit against Barcelos. But I think, honestly, from a betting perspective, purely, don't take my betting advice, but I'm telling you this. This is a discount on Peyton Talbot. This is a discounted line. This is a recency bias ass line because he was minus 1,000 against Barcelos. That's all I'm saying. I do think Felipe Lima here, though, has all of the advantages in this matchup. Not all of them. I think Talbot is a far more powerful striker, and I think he might be a little bit more durable as well. Actually, I think he's certainly more durable. But I think Felipe Lima's way faster on the feet. I think he's got a grappling advantage easily. He can get a takedown and submit Talbot for sure. My thing is, I don't think Peyton Talbot has given himself enough time to patch up the holes in his wrestling defense. And I think that's something Felipe Lima can expose because he's so well-rounded. He's got great Muay Thai, great speed, great combinations, pretty good timing as well. And he's got good takedowns too. And I don't think, how long ago was this fight? Like 5 months? Yeah, 5 months. I don't think that's enough time to fix your grappling defense. So I got to go with Felipe Lima here. I hope he wins. Felipe Lima is my dog. He's my slime. He's probably my favorite prospect. This is also his first fight at bantamweight. His 2 UFC fights have both been at featherweight, which I think is impressive because he was out-grappling, Muhammad Niamov, who's a pretty big 45er. Out-grappling Miles Johns in moments, who's a very strong, stocky guy. And then he's cutting down to bantamweight. Now, I worry maybe that affects the durability a little bit, but Felipe Lima's career largely has been at bantamweight. Only in the UFC really has he been at featherweight. Like these fights here are bantamweight, but these two are featherweight. I think he'll have an easier time taking Peyton Talbot down. I mean, if he's getting grappling going on Miles Johnson, Muhammad Naimov, he can get it going on Talbot. I just worry because Talbot does kind of just seems like he has good power. And he's got good timing too, Talbot, on the feet. That's my only concern. Like, I could see Talbot winning. I easily could. But I'm going to trust Felipe Lima. I think he is the more skilled fighter overall. I think he's got a clear path to victory as well, if he chooses to use it. I hope he does. I don't know if he's going to, though. Because, main card opener of the pay-per-view, he might spurg out. They might get into, like, a gunfight. In that, I don't know if I favor Felipe Lima quite so much. But I'm going to trust him to win. Really high-level guy, good prospect. I think Peyton Talbot's still a really good prospect, too, to be honest. But I'm taking Felipe Lima. I'm taking him by... He could win by submission, but I think more often than not, he wins by decision here. Maybe 29-28. Maybe he gets hurt by Talbot in a round. I could see it for sure. I think there's going to be a moment where Talbot catches Lima and kind of wobbles him and hurts him a little bit. But I'm going to trust Lima to win this fight. I hope he does because I really like the kid. Moving up to lightweight, Beneil Dariush taking on Renato Moicano. Now, I have broken this fight down before, but I've changed my mind. Originally, I was going to go with Renato Moicano just because I liked the activity. I thought he was a little bit sharper on the feet. But then I dug into it a little bit more. I watched a little bit more tape. I thought about it a little bit more. I think Beneil Dariush gets him. Dariush hasn't fought in a while, which I don't love because he's not getting any younger, but these guys are both around the same age. Almost the exact same age, actually, even down to the month. But Dariush is a guy where if you can't really put him out, like clean and early, man, he's a motherfucker to beat over 3 rounds. And my thing with Moicano is largely he's a guy who is a grappler. That's his bread and butter. He's got nice Muay Thai. He's got nice straight punches. He's got decent hooks as well, Moicano. He's a good striker. He doesn't really have all that much power. And largely he gets his work done with the grappling. He's not out grappling Dariush. I don't think. Unless he hurts him on the feet and then grapples him. In the scramble, I don't think there's really nobody better in the scramble than Beneil Dariush. Maybe Gregor Gillespie. But, he hasn't fought in fucking 18 years. Beneil Dariush can scramble with the best of them. He's got elite jiu-jitsu. He's got good wrestling as well. And on the feet, I think Beneil Dariush packs a little bit more power. And Moicano's not a guy known for his durability either. I think Moicano is a little bit faster with the straight punches. But I think Beneil Dariush kind of carries that hammer. You know what I mean? And I don't see Moicano particularly putting Beneil Dariush out fast. If he does, cool, because I love Moicano. But I'm kind of leaning Benny here, especially as the underdog. I know he hasn't fought in a while, and he's been KO'd bad in his last 2 fights. But he's given himself some time off. He's done a camp from Moicano already. I'm going to go with Beneil Dariush, dude. I'm going to go with Beneil Dariush. I think I'm going to take Benny by decision. Especially because at one point, he was on a hell of a streak, man. This fight against Diego Ferreira was sick. Diego Ferreira at this time was a really good fighter. He still is a pretty good fighter. Beats the corpse of Tony Ferguson, but you know what? Out-grappled him clearly. Beats Matus Gamrot. Absolutely bitched Matus Gamrot in this matchup. Like that shot he landed on Gamrot, that the one. I think that puts Moicano in a fucking coffin, to be honest. I'm going to go with Beneil Dariush. I think he's got more power. And he's too hard to grapple. I don't think Moicano can get it going on him. Maybe Moicano catches him on the feet, but I think this fight's going to end up being a dogfight on the feet. In a dogfight, I like Beneil Dariush, especially if he's not outgunned in the power aspect here. No one's picking Dariush. I'm going to go with Dariush by decision. I don't know. I like him as an underdog. I'm fine with Moicano winning. I love the guy, but I kind of like Dariush in this matchup. The more I think about it. Oh fuck. Moving up to flyweight. This is probably the best fight on the card. No, it's not. What am I talking about? I'm schizo. Never mind. But this fight is sick. I'm looking forward to this one a lot. At flyweight, Brandon Royval taking on Joshua Van. Man. Talk about a sick matchup. As you guys know, Brandon Royval is my favorite flyweight. I love the dude. This is the most exciting, two of the most exciting guys at flyweight. Probably the two most exciting guys at flyweight. Both these guys rock. Um, what's the line? Okay, guys, I gotta go with my slime. I gotta go with Brandon Royval. I have to. I absolutely must do it. I love Josh Van. I've been high on Josh Van. I think he's good. I think he's a great fighter, a young talent. He just got out of a fight 2 weeks ago, and it was a really great performance against Bruno Silva. But this ain't Bruno Silva. This is a jump up like 12 spots above Bruno Silva. This is the number one contender in this division. Brandon Royval is really fucking good, dude. And I just feel like this is just a little too much, a little too soon. Because Joshua Van really does struggle with guys like Brandon Royval, frame-wise, height-wise, and volume-wise. A guy who throws a lot of knees, a lot of front kicks, a lot of teep kicks, a lot of elbows. Brandon Royval is a very unorthodox, tricky guy. And his style is similar to a Charles Johnson, a little bit, at a higher level, basically. Charles Johnson's pretty good, and he was able to knock out Joshua Van because Joshua Van, man, he is teeny tiny in this flyweight division. This is my problem with Van, I think, at the higher level. He's small, bro. Like, Bruno Silva was as small or smaller than Joshua Van. You know? Like, he's going to be tiny in there. And it's just like, dude, when you look at the experience level of Royval, Matt Schnell, Nicolau, Pantoja, Moreno, Tyra. Ugh. And he's more well-rounded too. He's got a grappling game. Like, he's got some decent takedowns, and he's got really good jiu-jitsu, man. He's got really good step-in knees. He's got really good timing with his knees. Good timing with the shots too. Joshua Van can certainly get the boxing going on Royval. He is hittable. But Royval's pretty durable. He can be dropped, but so can Joshua Van. I've said this for a long time since I've been watching Joshua Van. I don't think the chin's very good. I don't think it's great. He got hurt by Borjas. He got knocked out by Charles Johnson. He got hurt by Cherez, and then like Cody Durden didn't really hurt him. Ray Tesori is a pure grappler, so he was never in any danger here. Bruno Silva's a dangerous guy, but like I said, he's a guy who's a little bit less technical than Van, and he's smaller than Van, so Van's gonna bully him. Royval's bigger. I think he's got. I just have to go with my goat. I can see Joshua Van winning this fight for sure. He's got clean boxing. And he's got good hips too, for takedowns. He's really good. He's a really incredible talent, especially at his age. Uh, and if he wins, cool. You know what I mean? Fresh opponent at flyweight. But I just gotta trust Royval, man. He's been in there with Moreno twice. He's been in there with Pantoja twice. He's finished Kai Kara France. He's finished all these ranked fighters. He beat Tesuro Taira, took his 0, which I picked him to do, by the way. I swept that entire card. But not to glaze. He's really good, dude. My only worry for Royval really is because earlier this year he had to pull out of a fight against Manel Kape because he had a really bad concussion. That scares me. I do not like that. That is my big worry here, actually. Because Joshua Van's clean. He's got good timing. He's got great striking. He can find that shot. And if Royval had a bad concussion a while ago, I worry that maybe there's still some after effects of that looming in this fight. It's hard to say for sure, though. That's an intangible that you just don't really know. But granted, it's not like Joshua Van took 0 damage in this fight 2 weeks ago, and he's got to cut weight again. So maybe the durability is even more chalked than it normally would be. There's a lot of weird intangibles with this fight, but I'm going with Brandon Royval. I think he's got eons more experience at this level. He's got a good style to be effective against Joshua Van. He's got the submission game. I got to go with Brandon. I am a little biased. I will say that for sure. I'm going with Brandon Royval. I think you could win this fight by TKO or submission. I think he could finish. I really do. But I do understand the decision pick. I'll probably, because both these guys can drop each other. That's my thing. Both these guys can drop each other. I'm gonna go with Royval decision. I think. Yeah, I'm gonna go with Brandon Royval in a decision, in a really competitive fight. Moving up to actually staying in flyweight, the champ Alejandro Pantoja taking on Kai Kara France. Guys, I got some opinions. I've thought this for a really long time about Kai Kara France matching up with Pantoja. I think he is a bad matchup for Pantoja. I have thought this for a very long time. But granted, I've picked against Pantoja a lot. Granted, I beat him. I picked him to beat uh, Moreno. I picked him to lose against Royval, and I picked him to beat Urseg. And I picked him to lose against Asakura, kind of for the meme. But unironically, I think Kai Kara France is a bad matchup for him. Because when you break down Kai Kara France and Pantoja, Pantoja does well against guys with bad takedown defense, and he does well against guys who don't really have any power at flyweight. Like, this is why he beat Steve Urseg. Steve Urseg was landing really good shots on him, but Pantoja can kind of just walk through that shit. Like, you KO'd Matt Schnell, bro. Nobody gives a fuck. You know, to Pantoja, that's not enough power to really get the respect of him. Now, the reason Urseg looks so good in this matchup is because Urseg, at his base, he's not a striker, he's a grappler. He's always been one. He's got good wrestling, good hips, good scrambles, good jiu-jitsu. So that made this fight really close. And he's a little bit cleaner technically than Pantoja. When I think about Kai Kara France, he's got really good takedown defense. He's got really good first layer takedown defense. You know, when he beat, will it be here? Askar Askarov. Askar Askarov couldn't take him down. Askar Askarov beat Pantoja. He couldn't take down Kai Kara France. You know, Amir Albazi, one of the worst robberies I've ever seen in my entire adult life. He couldn't take down Kai Kara France. He's got really good first layer takedown defense. He's a hard guy to get down. Very hard. He's a durable son of a bitch too, Kai Kara France. And I think he's a more technical striker than Pantoja, I think. And he's got power too. This is my problem. Pantoja, he utilizes the durability a lot. He durability mogs his opponents. But not a lot of his opponents, outside of like Davis and Figueiredo. And honestly, Kai Asakura hits very hard. Have kind of that stopping power. Like, Perez doesn't have the stopping power, and he doesn't have that good of a takedown defense compared to Kai Kara France, in my opinion. Brandon Moreno, he's a very clean striker. He can hurt you, but he doesn't have that much power. Royval, very tricky guy. Good shots up the middle, good knees and stuff like that, but his hand power, it's not really there. You know, Urseg doesn't really have that stopping power with the hands either. I think Kai Kara France does, bro. You know, slept Steve Urseg, which I picked him to do, by the way. I just think he's got a good matchup against Pantoja. I really do. And he's a big underdog. I think he can stop the takedowns. And I think he can get Pantoja a little tentative on the feet with the power. Because he does have power, dude. And Kai Kara France is fast, too. This Amir Albazi fight, man, his jab was looking lightning fast. Like popping that triple jab on. I like Kai Kara France in this matchup, bro. I really do. I think I'm going to pick him. I honestly think I'm going to pick him. I think I'm going to pick Kai Kara France. Nobody's picking Kai. Not a soul's picking Kai. I'm going to. I don't give a fuck. I like this stylistic matchup for him. If Pantoja goes out here and blows up Kai Kara France, I would be so wildly impressed. Because genuinely, I think he is a horrible matchup for Pantoja. I think he's got the power. I think he's the more technical guy with the hands. And I think he's got great first layer takedown defense. And I think that style is something that can give Pantoja problems. Then again, Pantoja's a demon. He is a dog. He's got infinite durability, great grappling, a lethal submission game. And he's got the coolest custom shorts in the UFC. Did you guys fucking see those? I saw those tweeted out by MMA Orbit. Holy shit, dude. His custom shorts are so sick. Maybe he wins on aura alone. But I'm going with Kai Kara France as a big underdog. I think he's got a good matchup here for him. I think he does. I think he can hurt Pantoja on the feet, unironically, and I think he can stuff the takedowns. I'm going to go with Kai. Do I think he finishes Pantoja, though? No. Could he knock him out? Maybe. I think Kai can win a decision here. I think he can hurt Pantoja in these rounds and have moments, right? Like tit for tat. Oh, Pantoja's shooting. Kai defends it. They're striking. Ooh, but Kai lands a big overhand, and it kind of sits Pantoja down a little bit. Not sits him down, but it's like, ooh, you see that affects him. I think he can land more shots like that affect Pantoja than Pantoja could do likewise. Maybe this ages badly, but I'm going to go with Kai Kara France's decision on damage. We'll see, though. The sick matchup. And closing out the card, our pay-per-view card, with the main event at lightweight for the belt, Ilia Topuria taking on Charles Oliveira. Guys, I'm going to be sad. Guys, we're going to be sad. Ilia Topuria is probably going to win, isn't he? I mean, the guy is just a demon. I don't know. His boxing's so clean. And it's like, you know what he's going to do. He's going to push you up against the cage, and he's going to fucking sleep you. And you just can't stop it. He just does it every single time. He's well-rounded too, man. He's got good speed, good timing. He's got good jiu-jitsu. He's got good wrestling as well. Fuck, he's a beast. But what I want to say is this line is despicable. This line is insulting because acting like Charles Oliveira can't win this fight is silly. He's going to be way bigger than Ilia Topuria in there. I mean, he is like genuinely, he is going to be substantially larger than Topuria. I know it says 5'7" to 5'10". He's going to get mogged in size in that cage. Brutally mogged, I promise you. And Charles Oliveira's a guy, a lot of knees, a lot of kicks. He could win this fight, dude. Acting like Ilia Topuria can't be hurt by Charles Oliveira is silly. But if they fight, 100 times, I think Ilia Topuria wins, like 65, 70 of the times. And Charles is a guy, he gets hurt a lot. You can't get hurt against Topuria. You can't, because you're going to die. It's as simple as that. And it's not like Topuria is going to be a guy who's scared to engage in the guard of Charles Oliveira if he hurts him. Because Topuria's got legit jiu-jitsu. He's got good submission skills. I could see Topuria hurting Charles Oliveira on the feet and maybe following him into his guard, landing some ground and pound, and maybe opting for something like an arm triangle from mount, kind of like Islam Makhachev. Transitions into the arm triangle and finishes him. Because I don't know if Topuria is going to be particularly super scared of Oliveira's guard, especially if he rocks him. And Charles Oliveira, he's kind of up there in age, man. Almost 36 at lightweight. It's another thing. I hope Charles wins. I love Charles Oliveira. He's one of my favorite fighters of all time. I hope this fight goes all 5 rounds and it's just a fucking war. I would love that. But I don't think it's going to be. I think Ilia Topuria's got such good timing. He's got such good eyes. And he's so good at implementing his game plan. And I don't think Charles Oliveira is the same guy backing up as he is going forward. I don't think Charles Oliveira is a good counter striker. But I do think he will back up against Topuria because he was backing up against Chandler. He was a little bit more tentative at times against Michael Chandler here. And if he's willing to back up against Topuria, getting behind that black line, getting up against that cage against Topuria, that's death. That's the dead zone. Yeah, I'm going to go with Ilia Topuria. I think he's going to TKO Charles Oliveira. I hate to say it. I would love to see Charles Oliveira win for the fucking storybook. You know what I mean? It would make me happy as fuck. And it's not like Topuria can't bounce back either. But I would just like to see Topuria, or not Topuria, Oliveira get the belt again just because I love the guy. Banger fight, though. Should be sick for as long as it lasts. But I've got to go with Ilia Topuria, man. He's shown me a very high level. Great boxing, great power, great timing, great speed, great eyes. He's got good wrestling. He's got good submission skills. Maybe Charles Oliveira can land the shot. Charles Oliveira's got good head kicks, and we've seen Topuria dropped with the head kick before by Jai Herbert. And I think Charles Oliveira's got really nice knees. He's got nice elbows. Maybe he can bully the smaller guy in the clinch. Could happen. There's a good chance. But I just think more times out of 10, Topuria wins. So I'm going to go with Ilia Topuria. I think he wins inside the distance. I could see TKO. I could honestly see a submission as well. I could see him hurting Oliveira on the feet and jumping in the guard, maybe going for like an arm triangle. But I think more often than not, he gets it done with the hands. So I'm going to go with Ilia Topuria by TKO. I hope I'm wrong, but I don't think I'm going to be. Yeah, that's it for UFC 317, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. I don't know how long this video is going to be. I feel like I've ranted for a while. But yeah, thanks for watching. If you're new, subscribe. And I'll catch you guys next time. See ya.